Many people today say things like, "I always give more than I receive." This feeling is everywhere. You pour your energy into relationships, and somehow it never feels returned. It is exhausting, and it feels deeply unfair. And sometimes that feeling is completely valid. There are relationships where one person genuinely carries more emotional weight than the other. Recognizing that imbalance is actually an important and healthy thing to do. But in many situations, the problem is not that others care less. The real challenge is something happening quietly inside you. And understanding that difference could completely change how you experience your relationships. Psychology actually shows that this feeling of caring more is often connected to specific patterns we develop early in life. So here is what psychology suggests instead of simply assuming others just do not care enough. 1. You may have learned that love means overgiving. Many people grow up in environments where love felt conditional, where affection had to be earned through effort, helpfulness, or always being available for others around them. Most people who grew up this way do not even realize it happened. They simply learned that to be loved, they had to give constantly. So, giving became their natural love language, without anyone ever asking. Psychologists explain that this pattern is called overfunctioning. It means you automatically take on more than your share in relationships. For example, you might always initiate plans, always check in first, and always apologize even when you are not wrong. 2. You may be measuring care differently than others do. A lot of people assume that everyone expresses care the same way they do. But that is rarely true in practice across different personalities and backgrounds. You might show care through long messages, consistent check-ins, and emotional conversations. Someone else might show care through simply showing up quietly when it matters most, without many words at all. Psychologists call this the difference in love languages and care styles. For example, a friend who rarely texts back might still think about you constantly. Their silence does not always mean absence of care or feeling. 3. You may be noticing your own effort more than theirs. When we give a lot, we naturally track it. We remember every sacrifice, every message sent, every plan made. But we often forget to track what we receive back. Most people unconsciously pay more attention to what they give than what comes back to them. This is not dishonesty. It is simply how attention works when we are emotionally invested in a relationship with someone. Psychologists explain that this is a form of attention bias. For example, you might forget that your friend drove an hour to see you, but clearly remember the one time they canceled plans on a difficult day. 4. Not everyone expresses urgency the same way you do. You might feel something deeply and respond immediately. Others process things more slowly. They care just as much, but their response simply looks different from the outside. A lot of people read slowness as indifference. If someone does not reply quickly or does not match your emotional intensity, it is easy to conclude that they simply do not care about you enough. Psychologists explain that emotional response speed is deeply personal and often has nothing to do with love or care. This could look like a partner who needs quiet time to process feelings before they can respond to you. 5. You might be giving in ways others never asked for. Sometimes we give what we wish someone would give us, not what they actually need. This can create a gap that leaves both people feeling misunderstood and unseen. Many people give advice when someone just wants to be heard, or they give reassurance when someone simply needs space. The effort is real and genuine, but it does not always land the way we hope it will. Psychologists emphasize the importance of asking rather than assuming. For example, you might decide to simply ask someone what kind of support would feel most helpful to them right now, instead of guessing quietly. 6. Accepting that you cannot control how others love you is one of the most freeing things you can do. You can be the most caring person in the room and still not receive the same kind of care in return. Most people respond to this pain by giving even more, hoping that eventually the other person will match their energy. But more giving rarely changes someone else's capacity or willingness to show up differently for you. Psychologists explain that recognizing your own needs clearly is not selfishness. It is self-awareness. This means something like choosing to have honest conversations about what you need, or gently deciding where to invest your emotional energy going forward. Feeling like you care more than everyone else does not always mean you are surrounded by people who do not care. Sometimes it means your awareness of love is simply more visible to you than anyone else's love is. What it actually means is this. You may be a deeply feeling person in a world where many people express care quietly, imperfectly, or differently than you expect. That does not make their care less real. Healthy connection is not about finding someone who cares exactly like you do. It is about understanding each other well enough that both people feel genuinely seen, even when your styles look completely different from one another.